on the Ethernet, and anyone who might be viewing this in the days to come. Today is Monday, November 8th, and this is the meeting of the Board of Architectural Review and Historic Preservation. It's now 7 o'clock, and I will call our members and then we'll proceed. So at least on my screen is Sarah Latham, John Gregory, Mark McIntyre, and Peter DeWitt, and myself, Jeff Broadley, as chair. Do I have a motion to open this meeting?
I move we open.
Okay, Peter moves. Do I have a second on that?
Second.
Second from Mark McIntyre. You gotta be fast, Sarah. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. So we'll let the meeting begin. And what I'm going to ask Kat to do, which she is doing now, is to share with everyone the agenda. And one, this is useful, but also particularly tonight, in as much as we have numerous adjournments. And so just let's scroll through this slowly. So if you are here for any of the adjourned meetings, there's no need to stick around. But as Kat is scrolling through, there's and by the Way Trust, which was on 88 Gin Lane, Oris Bliss at 88 Meadow Lane, adjourned, Beechwood Latch at 109 Hill Street, BHNH at 109 Hampton Road, Post Crossing LLC, Fairlane Realty, which is 242 South Main Street, Albanese Orzini at 143 Herrick Road. And then in terms of non-historic, Heart of the Hamptons, 31 Roscoe. And the last item on the driveway gates is Leroy and Tandy Mitchell at 21 Terry Court. So the good news on that is it will hopefully make for a shorter meeting. The concern that I have with adjournments, and we can discuss this at the end of the meeting in terms of business, is that continuing adjournments break the momentum, and I think can be a disservice to the to public interest. So we'll discuss that at the end. And I know Peter wants to bring up something as well in terms of the adoption of certain state rule codes, correct, Peter?
Yes.
Okay, great. So we can do that at the end. So let's now proceed with, yes. Yes, go
Before you
ahead.
get started, I also wanted to mention that we still have not received affidavits for Paul Fagan at 32 South Main Street.
Okay, so if anybody is here representing Paul Fagan at 32 South Main Street, please be advised that we will not be able to hear that this evening. And I would suggest getting in touch with the building department tomorrow so that we can hear your application. And this is a particular concern because, am I correct, there's an existing non-conforming gate at that location? Am I correct, folks? Maybe I'm wrong, but in any event, be that as it may, we have to have the affidavits in. So Mr. Fagan or their representatives, please check with the building department. Okay, so let's proceed. We have minutes. There are 4 sets of minutes, 2 which Jackie and I have discussed and they've already been approved, which are for September 7th and October 12th. The September 27th minutes are yet to be provided, but they will be forthcoming. So we have before us the October 25th minutes. And if everybody's had a chance to review them, we'll accept them into the record. If not, we can do that next week. So have you all had a chance to read them? And again, if not, it's not a biggie. We're all good? Okay, so then I would move that we accept into the record the minutes of October 25th, 2021. Do I have a second on that?
Second.
Second from Peter. And all in favor,
Aye.
Great. So we're pretty much up to date on minutes. All right. So let's see. So we have a written decision from council regarding Michael and Nina Whitman at 36 First Neck Lane. Alice, do you want to just give us the highlights on that so we can take it to a vote?
Sure. The applicant applied for a certificate of appropriateness to construct 2 sets of driveway gates. They have existing columns that at 8 feet, and they're proposing columns at 6 feet with lights on top. And the board found that the height of the gates were appropriate for the property, and the gates were consistent with this part of First Neck Lane.
Okay. Do I have a motion to accept the written decision?
So moved.
Okay. Let's see, I did it out of order. Do we need a second on that, Alice? Yes,
Second.
second. Okay, from Peter. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, great. Thank you. So that is accepted. Okay, so as a matter of record, I will just go through the adjournments officially. So in terms of public hearings, historic, we have, sorry, oops. And by the way, trust, subtrust A and subtrust B request adjournment to December 13th. I move that we accept the applicant's request to adjourn to the 13th. Do I have a second on that?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, unanimous. Okay. On the application of Oris Bliss at 88 Meadow Lane, the applicant requests adjournment to December 13th, 2021. Do I move that we accept the applicant's request to adjourn. Do I have a second on that?
Second.
Second from Peter. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, great. It's unanimous. On Beechwood Latch LLC, 109 Hill Street, the applicant requests adjournment to November 22nd, our next meeting. Do I have a second? I move that we accept the applicant's request. Do I have a second on that?
Second.
Okay, good. Sarah gets it this time. All in favor? Aye. Okay, so be it. On the application of BHNH, we'll come back to 550, but let's get off these requests for adjournment. BHNH LLC, applicant requests adjournment to November 22nd. Do I have I move that we accept the applicant's request. Do we have a second on that? Somebody, second from Mark. All in favor? Aye. Okay, that is accepted. The Post Crossing LLC, that's pending ZBA approval, no vote necessary on that. Fairlane Realty Corp., the applicant requests adjournment to November 22nd. I move that we accept the applicant's request to adjourn. Do I have a second on that?
Second.
Okay, great. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that's done. And finally, in this category, Elvis Orsini, Jeffrey Vander Remdock, I guess. The applicant requests adjournment to November 22nd. I move that we accept the applicant's request to adjourn. Do I have a second on that?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay. All right, so let's go back then to the only application to be heard this evening regarding or in an historic district. And that was a carryover of 550 Hill Street LP for certificate of appropriateness for demolition. As you know, this has gone back and forth, and we closed it to discussion, public discussion by the applicant and the public a few meetings ago. We did have discussion at our last meeting among the board members. And at that point, we were split. And Mark, you were not here. So this is an opportunity to weigh in. And other board members, you may chime in as well. So Mark, what's your thinking on this particular application?
Yeah, I reviewed the tape from last week and I've read all the documents. It would sadden me greatly to lose this asset, and I wish that someone would step up to repurpose it. But with the vagaries surrounding its history and the vagaries surrounding its crisp code, I'm in agreement with Jeff and Peter that I think we should accept the application to demolish.
Other board members want to either make any other further statements?
I think sorry.
Sure, by all means.
I also concur that I think it should be saved. I think it's a contributing building, but I'm outvoted, but I would also stress that the idea of repurposing it, adaptive reuse is certainly something. At one point, it was going to be part of a property that was going to be a guest house. I don't know what the use is, nor have we seen anything. And we're back to the old, oh golly, yes, we'll say you can tear it down, and then we're going to end up with something that's not as good as what we are losing. So I would also stress the possibility of repurposing.
Okay. Any other comments? Yeah. So I concur with Mark. The facts are murky at best in terms of the date, the location, the provenance. And I think we all agree it's a nice house, but doesn't necessarily rise to the standards as contained in the code, which binds us. But when I say binds us, not to the point that it inhibits our judgment. And I think, and to the extent that the applicant can repurpose this, move it to another location or use it somewhere on the property, I think that would be a plus. But like Mark and Peter and you as well, Sarah, I'm sad to see any house of a particular vintage be demolished, but again, we have to be bound by the intent of the code. So my vote would be to accept the applicant's request for a certificate of appropriateness. So I'm going to look for a motion. Jeff Blinkoff, do you have anything to add in terms of at least the procedure?
Well, the only question I have, Mr. Chairman, is it had been held over last time for a board member who was not present, and this time we have a different board member not present.
No,
So-
actually, we do.
They're all
We
here.
Oh,
do.
I'm sorry, I didn't see all
I'm
the
sorry.
photos. I didn't see all.
Yeah.
Didn't do a head
No,
count.
I'm so sorry. I should have given you a heads up. Jeff and I spoke this morning about the fact that we might not have a full board, and I too was surprised and glad to see John here. So I think that enables us to expedite the process. So in which
Sure,
case,
Then
Go ahead.
my suggestion would be that perhaps if a member's of a mind to make a motion subject to preparation of a written decision by council for the board's review, one way or the other, and take a vote of the
Right.
board, and then I'll draft the decision accordingly.
right. So who among you would like to make that motion? Mark, Peter?
I'm happy to go with so moved. I'm not sure I can repeat that exactly.
Okay, all right.
Then, so may I just ask, would that then be a motion to approve the application, sir? Is
Yes,
that the?
I would make a motion to approve the application for a certificate of appropriateness to remove the structure.
And
And-
if I could
and
just
to
ask, that be subject to
and-
decision being drafted.
Right, and submit to written decision, subject to the vote on that. Okay, so Mark, thank you very much.
Second.
Is there a second among you? Peter,
Yep.
all in favor? So let's say, so I'm Jeff in favor,
Mark
I'm
and
in
Peter.
Mark and Peter. All those opposed, nay?
Nay.
Nay from Sarah. And John?
I
where
voted
were you?
for.
Oh, I'm sorry?
I voted for.
Oh,
Was it-
4, okay.
Oh.
So 4-1, okay. Okay. Jeff, you're on your own to write a written decision. Thanks,
I will
folks.
prepare it.
Okay, and you can send Alice back in.
Thank you very much. And if I may be
Okay.
excused, Mr. Chairman?
You're excused. You have a hall pass, as I said, and you're good to go.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. All right,
Thanks.
bye-bye. Alice, I feel you're coming in from the soundproof room. I'm trying to think what game shows. The only one I can think of, not that it was my era, was a $64,000 question, but anyway, okay, so let's move on to driveway gates within the historic district. The first one on the agenda is DCK Wyndham LLC at 35 Herrick. So is there anybody here for that? I did not see any submissions, so I'm
Yeah, I saw no submissions on that.
I didn't either.
okay. So
Jeff, there's no
Kat?
hand.
no hands up, so that's a no-show. Okay. All right, we'll address that. I can't recall if there's an existing gate there, but okay, we'll address that. Next is Paul Fagan at 32 South Main Street. Any hands up for that? Again, that's without an affidavit, but I just want to see if anybody is still here.
I'm waiting and I don't see any.
Okay, so that's also a no-show and no affidavits. All right, we will get in touch with them. And finally, 472 First Neck Lane LLC for driveway gates at the eponymous location.
Okay, this one we have hands up for.
I figured you would.
That you
And
did.
I'm sorry.
Nothing.
And we have submissions in the file.
Yeah, both electronic and paper.
All righty. So Kat, you ready with the
Yes,
the
sir.
diagrams? Whoever is representing the applicant, please step forward, identify yourself, tell us who you are and where you're based.
Good evening. My name is Perry Guillot, landscape architect, based here in Southampton, representing this project for my client, 472 First Neck, for the driveway gates. They're not positioned on First Neck. They're deep into the property. I think you're all familiar with this old house, Makamoto. The picture in the bottom right shows the existing conditions that was taken recently. And there were just wood pillars, no gates earlier. And there are two neighbors to the north and to the sort of southeast, Bob Jifra and Whitney Stevens. And they both reached out to me in support of this design, just for the record. You can see the drawing for the construction of the gates. They're wood painted to match the trim of the house, the way it's progressing, the renovation. And the sketch near the title block on the bottom right shows the transparency, which is slightly more transparent compared to the bottom panel. And that includes the picket area as well. You know, removing that from the transparency is still an advantage. We're using a reclaimed brick, which is going to match the chimneys of the house with a stone cap. And we're well under the height, no lights. Any question?
Yeah, just not mistaken. So the spaces on the top, so it's basically spindles and open space.
Yes.
So,
Sorry.
so how much of open space? It's hard for me to see.
You can see the diagram in the bottom right next to the
Yeah.
name Okamoto in red.
Well,
If you, I mean, I know to think of the formula, we're always trying to stay in 50-50, but every gate needs a frame. You
Mhm.
discount the
Okay.
frame,
well, I think you have to include the frame when you calculate
then we're
transparency.
about even. Then we're really close to 50%. Then
Yeah,
Well, you're not actually. Well, you have to count the frame because that's opaque. But that being said, it's several. It's way back from First
Yeah.
Neck Lane, correct?
yeah, it's actually, if you get to this gate, you're going to be stuck and have to back out because there's no way to turn around at that point. And there's a couple of signs that say private driveway. You can see the sketch in the middle that shows the site plan,
Yeah.
the
And
position of the gates. That's where they are. That's where the pillars are now.
Mhm.
And you can see Robert Gifford's gates.
right, and it's several hundred feet off of First Neck, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
okay. Board members, other board members, any comments? Okay, let me see if there are any comments from the public. Kat, any hands raised?
I always have to stop sharing to see it, so there are none.
Okay,
The record,
board members,
for the record,
Go ahead.
I think it's appropriate to the space.
yeah, I do as well. So, Peter, you want to make a motion to approve these gates, the applicant's
Close for
request? Was that, oh, that's right, for written decision.
Oh.
So I move, now this is a question that I have. Alice, when we move for written decision, should we, and is it not better to indicate, to take a vote in terms of the board's sentiment?
Yes,
So in other-
absolutely. You
all
should
right.
indicate your sentiment.
Right, so I move that we accept the applicant's, I'm sorry, that we move to written decision with the positive position on accepting the applicant's request for driveway gates at, I don't, at this point,
472
450?
First Neck Lane.
472.
That's my agenda. Thank you, 472 First Neck Lane. So do I have a second on that long-winded motion?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
I
Aye, all right, Alice, you have some homework to do. Okay,
Got it.
thank you, Perry.
Thank you.
Okay, so now moving to public hearings, non-historic, part of Hampton's, that's pending site plan approval. 31 Roscoe Developer. The applicant has requested an adjournment to December 13th. I move that we accept the applicant's request to adjourn to that date. Do I have a second on that?
Second.
Okay, second from Mark. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that's unanimous. Thank you. Okay, so now let's move to Southampton Shopping Center LLC at 111 Main Street for exterior alterations. Okay. Did I? Okay. Oh, I missed something. Okay. Okay. So is the applicant here?
Yes,
Yes,
Okay. So please identify yourself.
Sean Leonard,
Sure.
the architect, 320 Hampton Road, Southampton, for the owners of 111 Main Street, Southampton.
Okay, great. Sean, now is this your screen or Kat's screen?
Cat,
Castor.
Okay, is that the latest or is that?
No, that is not. Can I share mine?
Let me just see, Kat should have the latest. I believe I copied the correct one.
give me a few seconds here. I have so many of that one in here.
Yeah, that's maybe why.
maybe the
Yeah.
applicant should do it. It'll be quicker.
Yeah, it could be.
Okay, all right, let's go with it. As long as it matches what we have,
Yes.
which, Sean, go ahead. You've got, you've got the captain's seat or whatever they say on Star Trek. The command, I'm not a Star Trek guy. Ah, there we go.
You can see it?
Yes, we can. Thank you, Sean.
Okay. So when I last met with you, we were discussing the building, and the issue with the renovation of the building was that there seemed to be a disconnect between the left side and the right side of the building, which is the part that's remaining. And except for the fact that right here, this window is currently the drive-up window that'll be removed and replaced with a window, so the building is symmetrical. What we've done was to make a connection is we've taken the roof now and we're bringing the roof along the front as a shed roof here to cover the front entranceway a little bit and have a connection between the two sides.
Okay. And have the materials changed?
The only material change was that since we're going to have to re-roof it, my thought was to make it a metal roof that would go on top.
Yeah, that's a pretty significant change. Let me put it to the other board members and see what comments they have.
Did we make any changes to the other side of the building?
No, I did not.
Okay.
Do you want to just, Sean, why don't you just take us around the building
Okay.
virtually?
Let me see if I can. Okay. Are you seeing this now or no?
No.
No.
Okay, apologize. Not.
Jeff, is there something I can help with? What are we looking for?
Well, let me see what's in the file. It would be the late, let me just,
I
what's
apologize.
the file
Oh, there
name?
you go. All right, there you go. I got it.
Got it? Okay.
Sure. So this is this would be the east side of the building,
Mhm.
which we have, the entrance sort of replaced. There's this very small door and a window there. The thought was that we're trying to make this a better entrance coming in off the parking lot with the windows and the doors. And then if I can go to the, oh, okay. No, that was the old.
Mhm.
And let me just get back to. Okay. And then this is coming along on the, would be the south side of the building. You see that?
That's the old picture.
Is the, oh, I'm sorry. Stop sharing. Let me just pull it up one more time.
Mhm.
There we go. It's a new picture now, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then that's the south side of the building.
And the west side?
West side, there's no change
Okay.
to that side.
All right. So, all right, board members, comments?
Well, I think bringing the roof across is way better, way better. I think John had a great suggestion last time, which was to make it more like a shed dormer, and it's almost there. I think if you just sloped it a bit and got rid of that top cornice, and it just looked like a shed dormer that was signage, it would look great. And while I like the, I think it's fine to have a new storefront, you know, with the steel detailing and such, I find that it's a little bit like a glue-on or applique on the side facing the parking lot, Main Street. And I wonder if you need it over there. I don't object to it on the south side.
I only did it because when we go to open up that space, we're gonna have to put some steel in there anyway because it is a masonry building.
Mhm.
And I was just kind of expressing that steel that we were actually putting in for that. But if you feel that you'd rather see it removed, I guess we could.
Can you
remove it.
recess it so it's not like
Yeah.
applied? So it's not.
It actually would be recessed. In fact, it would be back behind the, you know, the brick would be the first layer, and then the steel would be back a little bit and be handling more of the masonry wall, the
Fine,
TMU
fine.
wall.
Then I take it all back. I take it all back. Very nice.
Thank you.
Okay.
Is the brick is not the highest quality brick, I'm imagining, and I'm wondering is it white or is it sort of a grayish color that it's painted?
It would be painted a white, more like a white, but we don't want it to be a white. We're looking for it to be more of like a white wash so that it actually has some age to it. We want to still see and feel the brick. We don't want it to feel like it was just a painted wall.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I just thought maybe if it could be slightly darker, but I may be in the minority as usual.
No, actually, I'm with you, Sarah, in reviewing. What I love about Southampton is we have a lot of buildings that butt up against to each other and have different facades, but we look at them, they have shared walls, but we look at them individually. And what we're losing here is when you look at the current site, you've got a brick building that then goes up against CVS, and there's a delineation between those two buildings. And I think painting it white, especially if it's dove white, which is white with a little yellow, little gray in it against the blue white of the CVS building, it really forces you to look at the entire thing as one structure. I think the roof line change is fantastic. I just think if it were a color other than white, you would visually focus on these as two separate structures, which I think might do this structure a little more good. Because I actually like the design of it. It's the color butt up against the other building it attaches to that I think would be better if it were a true color.
I mean, a color or would it could be a light gray?
Like a light gray. Something
Light gray would be acceptable. We would definitely
something
do
where
that.
you just didn't visually suddenly see a big white mass that are not quite the same white mass all the way around. Because dove white up against the blue white of the CVS building, I think could be a little bit jarring. So I'd love to see it a light gray.
Sure, absolutely. We would definitely do a light gray.
Yeah.
Okay. Can we address the roof material? And I do that from the context of, and my fellow board members are fully cognizant of this, that we're not, at least in the residential areas, inclined to promote steel seamed roofs. And this street will be changing, particularly as and if and when a sewer is put in, Nugent Street is likely to be developed with restaurants and the like. I think this is a moment when we can affect the direction of that street. And my concern is that a steel frame roof, a steel seamed roof, doesn't give you that homey feeling that we might seek to create on that street. I don't know the feasibility, or in fact, even how it would look to have a cedar shingled roof or something else.
I don't think you have the pitch for cedar shingle there.
No, we
Yeah.
don't.
And also if it could be
It could
just,
be architectural shingle.
if it could be a dull galvanized looking lead, to me, it would be fine. It's just the shininess that may be just an artistic aberration in the rendering. But a dull
Yes.
lead would be fine. Lead color would be fine by me. And it's a commercial building. It's not a residential structure.
Right.
And in the 19th century, we had a lot of metal turn roofs.
Right.
I'm with Sarah. I think if it were a matte color and a matte gray without the reflection that I'm seeing from the other building, which may just be the rendering,
Yeah.
And standing steam room doesn't bother me. They would just, as long as there were snow guards all the way across it, that
Right.
would be required, because it gets.
And would a matte, a gray or
Lead.
a lead, thank you,
Yeah,
roof, would that turn gray or
they just-
copperish or?
They just dull down.
They just,
Exactly.
oh,
Mm,
Yeah,
mm.
in fact,
And-
I
and
like that.
Yeah.
What about
I like
the
both
metals
ways.
that have a more
Well, like
bronze type of patina?
no.
No.
That one
No,
work?
I-
No, that's okay. That's what I'm asking.
No, I think Sarah's instinct is correct. I think somewhere in the lead family in matte and Galvalume, if that's what you're looking at, has a lot of colors in that range.
Mhm.
I think it would be appropriate as long as we lost the shine.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. The shine is part of the rendering. That's not the intent. The intent would be to have a dull metal roof up there, and it could
Right.
be like a Galvalume or a lead coated copper type of a look.
Okay, so Sean, why don't, among the things, obviously you're gonna come back with some edits to the design. If you could also provide the board by way of submitting to the building department samples of the roof material. If there's, I don't know, board members, if you want to see a choice, or if you want to see what Sean recommends and is gonna hang his hat on, what do you think?
That's fine with me.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
are we all in agreement about the cornice of the shed dormer too, to simplify it?
Yeah, I think that really, because it's got a nice modern air to it, and I think that cornice is too 19th century.
Yeah.
Yeah, the facade has nice clean lines, and that just
Yeah,
seems a little
and it's-
bulky
yeah,
unnecessarily.
Yeah, I agree completely. And if I think if you just lower it, if you could lower it to that simple band, it would be perfect. With a slight slope to it. It's essentially
Like a-
you wouldn't- you
Like a
wouldn't-
shed dormer, right?
Like a
Yeah.
shed dormer, exactly.
So you're saying like lower the front where there seems to be that light gray line?
Yeah, exactly.
Give it a pitch, more of a,
Mhm,
More of a
yeah,
pit.
yeah.
I think that would be really handsome.
Mhm.
There. It's a good, you've done a good job.
Yeah.
Really unusual. Yes.
It's an important move for the village too.
Okay,
And it
All
may
right.
inform what happens someday with the post office.
Yeah, it doesn't look like OK Corral. It's great.
okay, Sean, you have some comments and direction from the board. And you'll provide us with some samples of the roof.
Yes.
And so let me just, Kat, can you see if there's any public comment?
Okay, one moment.
I
There
ask one more question? The-
Oh, yeah,
the
sure.
The shed dormer part, what, will the color match the brick, or is it meant to be a different shade to make it more prominent?
It was meant to be a different shade, so it'd be a little more prominent.
Okay, good.
Set it
And
off.
it'll be a better match with the metal roof too.
Yes.
Correct. Yes.
Good.
So Kat, anybody out in the public?
There are none.
Okay, so Sean, in as much as there are some things you want to do and need to do, I will assume that you're asking us for an adjournment.
Yes.
Okay, so we look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks. I move that we accept the applicant's request to adjourn. Do I have a second on that? Second from Mark, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, we'll see you in a couple of weeks, Sean. You know the drill, in by Thursday at noon, so we can all have a peek of it and in digital form as well as paper. Okay,
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
thank you.
Thanks, Sean.
Thank you,
Okay,
Sean.
great. Thanks, Sean. Okay, hold on, folks. Okay. Okay. Okay, next we move to Peter Culver at 49 Carrigan Street for an addition and alterations and a pool house. All right, is Peter here?
Yep, I see him and I'll
Okay.
bring him right in. Oh, shoot, he moved. No.
And Kat, you have the new submissions on this as well.
Yes,
correct?
I just have, I think, one picture though. That's what came to me.
Well, that could be worth 1,000 words.
All right, let's get everybody in and then I'll share it.
Put you off mute. Oh, wait a
Oh.
minute.
All
Hello.
right. We have Michael Crum and the Culvers.
Okay.
So waiting for Mike.
He's there. He's just muted.
It's all right. I'm sending him the request to start camera and then I'll do the mute as soon as he's got his camera started. All right, here is the request to unmute, sir. All right, we're all in.
Okay, Michael and Peter, tell us who you are and
Hello,
where you're
my name-
located.
My name is Michael McCrum. I'm the architect and I'm working out of Bridgehampton, New York. And I represent Peter Culver, Peter and Carmine Culver. And this house was originally built in 1956 by Peter's father,
Right. Right.
Bill
m-
Culver, and
Michael?
Yes.
If you want to go dive into the changes you made since last presented. Right,
Yes,
didn't
you
we
just-
saw,
You just had it up.
Okay,
right,
it's coming back. I was gonna switch.
So the
Right.
only issue that I believe we had was to enlarge the dormer windows, which we did.
Mhm.
And so we have 6/6 on top of 6/6. And I believe that was the only issue that we talked about last week or
Yeah.
2 weeks ago.
I think it looks
Fine.
good now.
Yeah.
Looks great.
Thank you.
okay, good.
Thank you for listening.
And they are 6/6, or is it just drawn as 6/1?
6/1, sorry.
One, yeah,
6/1 and over 6/1.
right.
Gotcha. Okay, board members, further comment? No, okay. Kat, anybody in the public?
No, sir.
Okay, so if there are no objections, I would move that we accept the applicant's request as submitted. Oh, and we looked at the pool house before, right? There were no issues on the pool house, correct? Everybody?
Mhm.
That was real straightforward and simple. Okay, I move that we accept the applicant's request as submitted. Do I have a second on that?
Second.
Second by Peter. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All right, great. Thank you, Michael, and Peter, to you and your wife, good luck, and nice to keep up the Southampton tradition. So
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Thank
good,
you.
good stuff. Good stuff. Okay,
Thank you.
great. Thanks, folks. Okay, hold on a second. So, June. Okay, next application is SHRE LLC at 161 Downs Path for a 2-story single-family dwelling, attached garage and pool house.
Here comes Pamela Hall. And John Laffey. All right. Hi, Pamela. Will you start your camera, please? And I just sent you the request to unmute. And let me just finish getting John Laffey in. He should be in momentarily. Here he comes. All right, John, I'm going to ask you to start your video. And then I'm going to send you the request to unmute. There we
Okay.
go.
Okay.
Right, and Kat, you have,
I do.
you have the pictures, yep.
Uh-huh.
Hold on a sec. Well, John, while she's doing that, just tell us who you are and where you hail from and anybody else who's going to be speaking.
I believe I'm the only one speaking tonight, Chairman. My name is John Laffey. I'm an architect here in Southampton, and I represent the owners of this residence. And last time we had met, there were really only a few comments basically related to both the front facade, the back facade, and removing a tree so you can actually read some of the text regarding the textures of the house. And I did these just 2 sheets to show you what was originally performed, were presented last meeting, and what we have done in this meeting to show you I believe we've understood your comments correctly.
Just let me know which picture you need, sir.
Well, the sheet right here is terrific right in front of me.
Okay.
The lower image is called the original Airbnb. That's what I gave you last meeting. And the comments had been a number of things. One is the shed dormer I had there with the metal roof and the 3 windows seemed a bit, most people thought it was kind of busy. So they said, could we possibly remove that shed and make it a more of a straight roof across? And then also, which we have done. And then the gable fenestration, I had originally had all the gables were shown to be corbelled gables with brackets. And they felt that, I think the board felt they were a bit fussy. And so I simplified them greatly. And I took those corbelled gables away and put in little windows in their place to take up some of the volume of the gable ends. And I've also removed the tree that was here, so you can actually see when I spoke about things like copper gutters and Glengarry damage, but you can actually read it now. So I thank you for that. Then I did a second sheet which also has the back facade on it. Could we possibly go to that one? One more? Yes, thank you.
You're
Again,
welcome.
the same comment. The drawing below shows again the corbelled gables on each of the gables, which we've now gotten rid of. And then the middle, there was comments about that we need so much glass on the back, and there's a series of transom windows on top of these already big, larger windows. And I thought in the comment that I got rid of the transoms. I did make the windows a wee bit bigger than the bottom sash, but these windows are the same size as the ones on the first floor, and I lowered the roof line on the back line as well, on the back roof line as well. Those are really the only comments that were made to me, and I think they're a very nice improvement. I think that's still very, very pretty, and I look forward to hearing your comments.
Okay, board members, comments?
Pat, could you go back to the facade or the front facade again? I don't know if everyone else agreed, but my intention for the front, for that shed dormer, was to continue the roof line as it was and eliminate those transom windows completely. So what you've done is essentially expanded the glass in the front of the house by raising the windows to the height of the shed dormer where it was before.
No, that's I'm sorry if that's the way it reads. It's not real. The new roof going across basically runs in line with the back roof, which people said was sort of the intent of what the front might look like. And while I did raise the size of the glass to match the front lower windows, I did lower that roof line that roof line goes between the old shed roof and the old roof of the
eyeballing it from here, it looks as though the roof line was raised from where it was.
That you're exactly correct, John. It's between that new roof line is between the old roof line and the two roof lines, the two horizontal roof lines. This one new one is in the middle.
That aside, I guess the intent of my comment previously was to eliminate the shed dormer and eliminate the transom windows and leave everything else as is.
So
That was-
I'll concur with John from a slightly different perspective. That my first impression when I looked at the new design, it looks like this I wouldn't say overwhelming, but a bit top heavy on the glass. And so if you went back to the 2/2, basically the original windows rather than the 6-pane windows that you have, I think I wouldn't have that impression of, wow, that's a lot of glass. And it almost looks like the top, and I'm sure it's partly to do with the drawing, but it almost looks top heavy over the bottom. Again, that's the way my eyes looking at it. So I'm with John. I thought you were going to be basically reducing the amount of windows rather than basically keeping them the same. So I don't know, board members, any other comments or relative to the windows or anything else?
I agree with you guys. I think, yeah, I agree with you guys. I like the lower eave line, and I know that your new eave line is probably between the two from the last time, but
Yes.
I like the lower one. It does look top heavy, I think, Jeff. But it's way better, not having that break.
It's
And I like the simplified gables. Now, remind me, what are the windows made out of? What color are they?
Or white?
White, okay, thanks.
Yeah, that wasn't behind the tree.
Yes. Yes.
So how are the dimensions of the windows different, obviously, in terms
Yes,
of vertically, but
yes,
the width is wider too, I guess, because there's not as much space between the far left and the far right and the 3 in the middle.
The windows are now narrower on the new scheme.
Mhm.
So they clear you can see in the old scheme where they were just touching the edges of the, yeah, exactly. Now we clear that.
Mhm.
So I
Moved them
made
over.
those windows less wide than the previous presentation to allow for the additional height. I guess my takeaway from was that you wanted this to look more like the back, so that's where I'd come from.
All right, so what you're hearing from the board is the scaling, the mass and the scaling of the windows up front.
In the front.
And
So if I went back to the front, if I go back to the original front facade and just remove the windows and the shed itself, the other window proportions are, we're fine with.
I would be.
Yeah, it was just the row of 2x2s that are there.
Yeah,
Over the
you
front door.
take all that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and continue the band, the fascia as you have.
yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah,
Do that.
okay.
Okay, I will request an adjournment until the next
Okay.
meeting.
Great. Thank
John,
you.
you're making our job easy. Thank you. I appreciate that. And so I move that we thank you, the folks on the, I'm sorry, yes, is this a public comment or are you folks the owners?
We're the public comment.
Oh, okay, so I'm
Next
sorry.
door neighbors.
Before I didn't realize I should have opened it
sorry.
up to public comment. So we've heard from the board. Is there any public comment? And please tell us who you are and where you reside.
Yes, we are the neighbors to the north, Pamela and Brian Hall of 145 Downs Path. The area of inquiry that we have is regarding the 2 decks on the second floor in the rear of the home. And there's 2 questions. First,
sure,
we didn't know the answer to this. Is that a common architectural feature in the area, second floor decks of that size? And then second, we noted that each one of the decks is roughly, if I got this right, 22 by 18. And so we're wondering, is there proposed outdoor lighting that would be installed on those decks beyond the sconces that would be on the exterior wall? So for example, the deck closest to our property on the north side is off a room labeled family room. If the deck is intended to be furnished, we'd imagine, potentially a lot of people congregating there, and there might be need for light. And we also noted that there were 6 bedrooms in total, plus I think 2 other rooms with ensuite bathrooms. So we're just curious about the lighting and furnishing plans on the decks, particularly that one, given the overall size of the decks and the number of rooms in the house.
Right, okay. So, Kat, do you have in your file, and John, if you can direct her to the site plan? I just want to get a sense of where everybody is.
I'm looking, Jeff.
In the past, that those issues really relate to the size of the lot and the distance from the neighbors, right? That's how we.
Mhm.
That's what I'm looking for.
Okay.
I don't see a site plan in this.
Here it is.
Oh,
There is,
yeah,
yeah, I would, yeah.
There it is.
Okay, so first, all right, so to the halls, where are you in relationship to the house?
North of
The
the house
driveway.
in lot 13.
Lot 13, okay. And
Mr. Hall, is your house built, is that house under construction?
That is the house under construction.
great, okay,
I'd be
so,
curious
and John, just point to the decks where they would be.
I'm guessing this is it.
No, right over here,
No.
right by the fireplace. Can you see this? Come down, yep, come to me, down, down.
There you go,
Right,
right there.
perfect, right now, right,
There
yeah.
you go, okay, so
Yeah.
those are the decks.
That's the deck.
John, and
Yeah.
what's your estimate to the, it looks like that's about, I don't know, is the distance to the sideline is, if the whole front is 160 feet, is that what I'm seeing?
That's pretty.
It's pretty far from the.
The width
Oh,
of
yeah,
the
yeah.
lot is 160 feet, so my guess is that's about half the distance, so 100%, so about 80, let's say 70 to 75 feet or so. And
Yeah.
then your house, Brian and Pam, is how far from the sideline?
That is a good question.
Good question, I don't know.
I think it's similarly located on the lot. So
All right.
we're,
So it sounds like there's,
It does feel like. there's
150 feet.
space there.
I cut some of the lights.
Yeah.
so there's a fair amount of space. So as I think it was John who was making the comment, we,
I think John, can you comment on their question about light?
Yeah, sure. Certainly the
Okay, go ahead.
lighting, it's always the intention of the lighting out on the deck would really be more for life safety and for to be path lighting type, sconce lights that are downlit from the piers on the posts so that they create puddles of light. Certainly not everything's going down. Nothing's going to be garish or shining out. We would work under the dark skies type of concept so that, there wouldn't be any type of, I guess your fear is a party deck, and I understand that, but that's not what this would be. This is a very conservative small family, and I don't think that's their.
That may be the case, but I still think we need to be, thoughtful
I
of
understand.
the potential future owners.
Yeah,
I think actually that the issue, although Mr. and Mrs. Hall may have an issue with their property, I think the more of the issue is on the other side, where there's a really close proximity to that second story deck, so that would be more of my concern, which obviously would affect your concern as well, even though it's a farther distance. But I would request that balcony be reduced in size.
Oh, I would, John, I apologize. I would definitely disagree with that because I need that space on the first floor, really for the covered porch. The
You
fact
can
that
still have the
it's,
covered porch, it's just the accessible balcony wouldn't extend to the very edge.
but if the concern is lighting, I can address
That's
that.
not my concern is privacy to the neighbors. Lighting is secondary from my perspective in that consideration. But equally, I mean, it's also something worth noting.
Jeff, please note their hand is up again.
Okay.
The Lafferty, the Halls would like to speak again.
Sure, sure, go ahead.
I don't think our hand is raised.
Okay.
I'm not sure if we pressed it right. We weren't intending to say anything else.
Okay.
Sorry.
So John Lafferty can surely address the lighting issue.
Yes,
And I would say the distance is such that privacy, to John Gregory's point, is less of an issue there. I'd like to go on the property again and look, because I don't have a sense of where the house to the south is, to see if it's
pretty far
an
away.
issue.
It's
It may very well be.
it's a gated.
I'm not exactly from Missouri, but I'll pick up the phrase.
I am.
You are literally. So in any event, I'd like to have the opportunity, and since you have to come back, John, let us look at the property and see how big an issue that is.
Fine, I think that won't be an issue at all. But yes,
Okay.
please defer.
Okay. Any other comments from the board?
Yeah. Oops.
Okay. Any other public comments, Brian? Pamela?
Yes, there's a public comment hand up. Hold on.
Okay, sure.
Bringing them in. LS, that's all it says, LS. Okay, LS, you are in. I am going to send you the link to, you got it.
There you go. Tell us who you are.
Hi, my name is Craig Schwabe. My wife and I are the owners of SHRE.
Our neighbors. Hello, neighbor.
Yeah.
Oh,
Nice
okay,
to
good.
Nice to meet you, and I hope to have a wonderful relationship with you in the future. This is my daughter, Remy. She's 10 years old, and my wife, Lindsay, and our standard poodle, Max.
I was going to say, well, that helps. There are some poodle aficionados in here.
And Mr. and Mrs. Hall, I'd love to speak to you privately. My phone number is 917.
One sec.
Okay. Yeah, and I'm glad that this is happening, because a lot of these issues are among neighbors. So
Yes.
if you folks can address it, that'll be fine.
Yeah, that would be great.
Jeff, I think we also have to keep in mind the lifespan of a property.
Yes.
It's not just these residents we're thinking about, it's future
by all
residents
means.
as well.
But by all means.
Me and her,
Yeah.
we have to think.
Like landscaping, things can change.
Yep, for sure. So Mr. and Mrs. Hall, are you ready to take down my number?
Yeah.
It's 917.
I wouldn't do that publicly. Would you?
I would do that, yeah.
agree.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing.
I'll be a long-term resident of Southampton. Anybody can call me anytime. I'm an open
Well,
guy.
I think to assure for privacy, you know what, Kat, or Jackie, if you can send them.
They can just message them. Can't they just message them? Privately?
You know what? Why don't I give my office phone number, if that would make everybody more comfortable, and that rings through, that somebody will answer that and they'll transfer me tonight to the halls.
Trying to protect your privacy, that's,
Okay. My office number is 212-356-0524.
And sorry, your name again was?
It's Craig, C-R-A-I-G,
Yeah.
Schwabe, S-C-H-W-A-B-E.
Okay, great. We'll contact you then tonight, if that's okay. Or
Yeah, give me a call tonight, 212-356-0524, and you'll be transferred directly to me.
Okay, great.
Great.
Well, look, first of all, it's wonderful to meet you, and I think we're going to be
Okay.
great neighbors.
Okay,
We're a small family. We certainly don't want to protrude too much light onto your property. So anything that the committee and the ARB suggests, we'd be delighted to accommodate.
Okay.
As far as our terraces, again, it's just the three of us. I doubt you'll hear much. You know, we noticed that you have a tennis court. You know, we were not afforded that. We were not afforded that ability because of new zoning rules, but you were. So, you know, we're delighted for you. My daughter here is a USTA
Okay.
player. She is, so we're delighted that you're able to do that. And we have no objection
Maybe you
to
should
that.
take this offline.
This is great. Well, it takes a village, Craig. So this is great. Also, there are a bunch of us who walk dogs on the beaches on weekends in the morning. So maybe you'll bring your dog one of these mornings. So anyway, we can do all that stuff offline. So John Laffey, back to you. You're requesting an adjournment?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
John, do you think it makes sense to go to the back of the house real quick to see if they have any comments?
I think we've gone through
I
it.
think it was just the front, Greg, that was the issue.
Okay,
Yep.
wonderful.
Okay. So I move that we accept the applicant's request to adjourn to our next meeting. Do I have a second on that?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Everyone, the
Thank you.
Halls, the Schwabes, and you, John Laffey, as well.
Thank you very
Okay,
much. I know.
enjoy.
Thank you.
I see pool parties and tennis games in the future. Okay. All right. Let's see. Okay. 21 Old Town Road LLC. At, not surprisingly, 21 Old Town Road for 2-story dwelling and attached garage. Anybody here on that?
Yep.
Okay.
Jeff, we received affidavits on this one and they're in order.
Okay, great.
Hello, how's everybody?
Hello.
I don't want to be as half as
Okay.
charismatic as Mr. Craig Schwabe.
Okay. Tell us who you are and who you represent, and then we'll get started.
Yes, my name is Bill Barba of Barba Architectural Design at 25 Bound Avenue in Blue Point, New York, 11715. I'm here on behalf of the owners of property of 21 Old Town Road LLC. We are in an R12.5 zone in a very tight, awkward lot that has lent itself to a unique design of a tri-gable traditional house. We are respecting a lot of the nature and history of the area. Great, that's on the screen for everybody to see, the rendering.
Yeah. Get
Cat is getting
I
there.
have too much going on with this one.
No problem. So we're proposing this, this simple 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom structure with red cedar siding, pressure treated red cedar roof, bluestone walks and terraces.
Kat, can you go back up one to the rendering?
There.
White trim, white windows from Marvin. Very, very classic to the area. Pea gravel driveway with a steel edge. Gunite pool in the back.
Right.
And
Okay, you mentioned the materials on the siding. How about the trim? What materials are you using?
so the trim is a Boral product, painted white to match the the windows and everything else. It'll be
Oh,
dove
what
white.
product?
Boral.
Boral.
Yeah.
It's been in
Okay.
front of the board in the past.
Oh, that's
it's a
right,
fly ash
that's right.
deposit. It's not AZEK.
Yep. Yep.
It doesn't
Okay.
shrink and expand at all. Very durable product to be painted the same as the trim of the windows and the doors. And then, of course, just very traditional materials, as I mentioned.
And you said the roof is shingle, wood shingled as well?
Correct.
Yep. Okay. Okay. Continue.
Other than that, I mean, we've done our best to kind of respect some of the area. It's like I said, it's a very lot. The R12.5 zoning A little different than what we've just been looking at in the past, but you know, the neighborhood surrounding it, obviously the Conic Land Trust is across the street. We are adjacent to the Gulf gas station on the corner of Hampton Road. So, you know, we're just trying to keep our privacy there with the hedges on the right, keep traditional.
Can you just, for ourselves and the public, just show us the other elevations? You showed us the east, right? Okay. So that's,
Right, so the north elevation is the one facing the Gulf gas station. And that is, you know, there's some steps going on there due to the unique nature of that lot line that forces the zoning to step in as we go. But we are fully conforming to the sky plane, lot coverage, GFA, and all others. And of course, our garage door does not face the street. Any
okay,
questions?
and the other two elevations, there you go.
Right, so the west elevation is the rear yard facing the pool, and the south elevation is facing the adjacent neighbor.
Okay. Board members, any comments?
Given how awkward that lot is, I think you've done a good job.
Appreciate it. There's some more renderings, I believe, at the bottom.
Didn't we see this before?
I don't think so.
No, this is our first application here.
We've had it for a while, but I don't.
Okay. Well, I object to the garage sticking out, you know, it should be recessive. I wish it were set further back from the main part of the house. At the very least, if we didn't have that forward facing gable and, you know, the porch roof extended over the garage, I think that would quiet it down somewhat. I also find the small windows on the front porch kind of, well, they look like what they are, which are bathroom windows, just not the most welcoming look.
Okay. Well, I believe that maybe you'd be more receptive to a taller casement window there or a double hung that would kind of lend some more of the traditional character.
Maybe, I don't know. Well, the main thing is the garage gable. It's just.
Yeah. Yeah, as Peter points out, I think he's right. The house, you've got a nice design. I think everybody is saying that. And I think it would be simplified by removing that gable and just having the roof line continue its slope.
Okay.
Is that what you're saying, Peter?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see a problem with that. We can absolutely do that.
Okay. All right. Any other comments from the board?
No, my only comment actually mirrors Peter's. I think if you could go with the one casement window in the front to look like that it's not a bathroom, because I realize there's a bathroom there and sort of like a mudroom situation there, a shoe bench or something. If you could figure that out where it was a casement window that looked a little more welcoming and like next to the front door, I think that would help.
Okay, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, if you reduce the size of the garage windows, it wouldn't be so incongruous either. You know, it's sort of backwards. You know what I mean? Like,
Understood.
I just think you got to play with the proportions of the windows in relation to each other.
Yeah, I think those are all good comments.
Okay.
You got a nice basic design on, as you say, a difficult lot.
It's a tricky lot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Look at that. Woohoo.
It was a challenge for sure.
Okay, good. All right. Any public comment?
Oh, hang on. Do that to see. Nope.
All right. So, Bill, in as much as you've heard some comments from the board, I'm going to take that back and
Requesting adjournment on your behalf.
yes, thank you, Bill. I move that we accept the applicant's request to adjourn. Do I have a second on that?
Second.
From Mark, all in favor? Aye. So that's unanimous. So Bill, if you could get any changes in by noon on Thursday before the meeting. So about 10 days from now. Okay,
That would be next Thursday. Got it.
great. And again, as you have both in paper and digital form.
No problem.
Okay, that's great. All right, we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
All right. Have a great night.
You too, thanks. Thank you. Okay, next application, Margaret Lewis at 63 Dale Street for two-story dwelling and accessory building.
He's coming in. Okay. So we have Monica Klug coming in, James Bennett. Let me have him start his video. We're missing one. James, will you please start your video? Thank you, Monica.
Hello.
Okay, folks, introduce yourselves, who's ever speaking on behalf of the applicant, and tell us who you are, what your relationship is to the applicant, and where you reside.
My name is Monica Klug. I'm the applicant for the owner of 63 Dale Street, and James Bennett will be presenting tonight.
Okay, so Monica, you're representing the applicant. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Yes.
Okay. So Kat has drawings and renderings, so she will get that up and you can work with her to take us through your presentation.
Which drawing do you want, ma'am?
Actually, I think James is going to be presenting.
Sure.
James,
He wasn't responding to my
Okay.
to my requests, so I don't know what the issue is.
James, are you there?
I'm actually requesting, right, and I requested that he start his video so that we can get moving. James, can you start your video? Your sound is on. Hello? Maybe turn up the sound on your computer, perhaps, sir? I can barely hear you, I think. Okay, well, Monica, we're having issues with James.
He tries to call in again, or
James has got his hand up. There's.
Come on, James.
Okay, so
for you.
James, I see your hand up and you're not muted, so you can speak. But we're not hearing you. So you're having a problem with your computer. I don't know what to tell you how to fix it, except for maybe to log back in or something. Other than that,
unless he has, do you have an earpiece in? Do you have your microphone activated?
okay. So Monica, is there any way that you can start presenting?
Otherwise, Monica, what we could do is we'll move on to the next application, then call.
And come back.
Do a call back.
I'll come back in. I'll come back in then.
All right.
I'll put.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. We're not going to forget about you, but we're going to move on to the next application, that of John Brown at 94 Pelletreau Street. Okay. All right. So whoever is representing John Brown, please identify, raise your hand, tell us who you are, start your video.
Start video. All right, here we go. How are you tonight, board? My name is BJ Steinbrecher, and I am the architect for John Brown, the homeowner.
Okay. Good.
right here
Hi,
is the
guys.
applicant.
Okay.
And hang on one sec. I'm just want to see what I got here up on the screen.
I put that up, sir.
Oh, okay. All right.
Right.
All right.
Oh, also, do we have their site plan
Yep.
on this one? Okay.
I think so. Let me just take a quick look.
Jeff, this is another new application. The
Oh, I'm
affidavit.
sorry. You do have the affidavits. Thank you.
They're in order.
Yeah, this is our first time in front of you.
Okay. We'll be gentle. All right. All right. I just wanted to confirm that this is a flag lot.
This is a flag lot off of Pelletreau Street. And that right there is the existing lot. There's a one-story ranch with a sort of like a lean-to covering on the north side. That's going to be demolished. The shed's going to be taken down. That's along the north side of the property line there. Yeah, and the flag lot, the whole flag lot's 26,948, but the flag itself is 22,702 square feet. And we are proposing a two-story residence with a detached garage, two-car garage. I don't know if you want me to share my screen or if you're gonna do that, Kat.
I'm doing my best. It's supposed to be my job.
Yeah, all right.
Is that the photo you wanted up?
Yeah, but I don't know if you want to go through the site plan now first, or that's the proposed house with garage coming into the driveway where it opens up.
Let me see what I got here. I got the bird's eye view and one more choice here. Oh yeah, this is the site plan. I have it. Hold on one second.
Yeah, it should be the 10/19/21 PDF.
I have it. Yes, I just have to get it shared. There. How's that? That's your site plan because it says it, right?
Yeah, one second.
1A. Do you have 1A?
Oh yeah. Okay, that's the site plan. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So
1A.
yeah, we're proposing it. It's a
The next page is a tighter view.
We can see.
See that? Yeah, the page 2 is, there you go. That's the better page to see. So we're proposing a two-story shingle style colonial with some gable roofs and hip roofs. The GFA is a total of 3769. We're allowed 3770 on the GFA. First floor footprint is 1957, I'm sorry, square feet.
Excuse me, what's GFA?
The gross floor area.
Thank you.
Then there's a little covered porch on the back. 20 by 40 swimming pool with a 8 by 8 spa. And the garage is 22 by 30 feet. And I don't know if you want to scroll down now. We can go to, oh, maybe stop on this page, because on the right side of the page, we're proposing, John would like to put some driveway light posts at the end of the driveway. So there'll be simple posts on the right side up here. 5.5 feet tall, total is 7 feet. The light fixture itself is 18 inches tall by approximately 9 wide. We do have some pictures of that if you'd like to see, or we could submit them of the lamp itself. And then Yeah, so that's the front elevation, north side. And the pyramid line's actually from the back corner, the southeast corner. That's the closest point of the pyramid line. So the house, actually, the property line opens up towards the front. I just wanted to show that. Yeah, so we got gable form on the front, hip roof to the left side. The front covered porch, we're proposing to do a black standing seam metal roof. There's going to be wood shingles. I have, we can submit, it's going to be a, the color of that is going to be, which one was it, John?
Seacoast gray.
Seacoast gray. So it's a gray stain, Mavex shingle. We're going to do we're going to do a wood. That's the actual shingle itself. I don't know if it's reading too well on the camera, but then we're going to do a wood shingle roof, red cedar. All the trim work's going to be white AZAC. The window frames will be white, as well as the grills, which are simulated divided light. Bluestone patios on the back and the front. And I guess that's about it. Those are the side elevations. The west side is the driveway side where the garage is, and the east side up top. And we are going to do black gutters and leaders on the house for a little contrast. And that's about it at the moment, I suppose. If you'd like to ask any questions, comments. Oh, there's the garage, right. We could, want to see that garage.
Yes.
16 feet high. 660 square feet total. 22 by 30 feet. That's also that's all gonna have the same fenestration as the house.
To me, the overall design is not very well digested. I think that the roof pitch is too high, and the front elevation has this rapid fire staccato fenestration, and then the side elevations have big expanses of walls with lesser window patterns. You also have a letter to the file from a neighbor who objects to the 2 lanterns at the entrance. And given the night sky ordinance that we're part of, I wonder if there couldn't be down lighting rather than 2 18-inch tall lanterns. And my other objection is the amount of asphalt on the site. It's just the actual coverage of the hardscape is, considering where it is, I think is excessive.
Yeah, I sitting here with John before, we were just sitting here talking about the house, and he said to me, "We're going to do a pea stone driveway." I said, "Oh, I thought we were doing asphalt." So he's going to do. He would like to do a brown pea stone driveway.
Well, you could have less of it too. You know, I don't think all the way to the head.
Covered the whole area.
Right. Yeah, we could reduce that.
Yeah, and
reduce that.
I have a number of comments. Number one, the roof pitches. You put up that perspective. That was very telling. You have different roof pitches going on, and it really is incongruous when you have that perspective. You can see what's wrong with the house. You've got I want the perspective, but you have you've got 2 ridge lines. Look at this. Stop at the section. This is a good one. You've got two pitches going on. You should have 1 roof pitch.
Can you come back, Kat?
And one. Yeah,
Great.
right here. Stop.
Thank
See?
you, Kat.
Yeah.
See, if you could, you got to unify it. One roof pitch, one ridge height. If you look at your elevations, your gables are higher than the rest.
Right.
And if you go back to that perspective, if you can find it, the colored perspective, it really showed that in the background, it was kind of a gentle roof and settled onto the house nicely. But in the foreground, it was very steep and kind of Gothic looking. So please get that rendering back so people can see what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
Kat, you have that rendering?
Which
It's not
one?
part of this
Oh,
PDF
oh, oh,
set.
oh. Yeah,
It's different.
Sorry
Yeah,
about
it's a
that.
different.
Gotta follow everybody here. Nope. Yep, this one right here. I got it. And 3, 2, 1. There you go.
Yeah, see the beyond the porch to the left. That looks like a normal Southampton house, but this very steep gable and the height of that ridge is higher than the ridge beyond.
Far too high.
Yeah, so you got to unify it. And also, look, this is your view. You don't want to look at this blank wall. This is high, people. Walter, my house, and look, you're presenting a blank wall. You know, you got to think about how you're approaching the house, how the guests are approaching, how your neighbors are going to see it.
Yeah.
And by the way, absolutely no, do not do a black gutter when you have white windows. I don't know. No. The gutter should be recessed. You don't want to make a thing out of them.
Yeah, my comment would be for the massing of this house or that neighborhood, this house looks awkwardly massively tall because you've got a 9-foot basement, then a 10-foot first floor, then a 10-foot second floor, and then an attic.
It's 8 foot on the second, but we were going to shape the ceilings, so it's 10 and 8.
Your drawing shows it as 10. I look at.
I think we're proposing to shape the ceilings.
Because suddenly the porch
Right.
looks massively tall. It just, the scale of the whole thing feels odd because what I see on page 8 is a 9-foot basement ceiling, a 10-foot first floor, which forces that really tall column at the front door, seems too tall to me, and then a 10-foot ceiling to the master bedroom. So no, I realize that you've got a gable going on. I mean, you've got a raised ceiling on there, but there's something about the mass of this house that looks out of scale in its height and its proportion to the neighborhood to me.
And the second mark on the porch, you know, that's way too tall.
It's tall.
Columns look small.
I agree with everything. And to add to that, on the rear of the house, the porch is narrower than those French doors that on the back of the house. That seems awkward to me.
Yeah.
And what was the comment about a metal roof?
No, it was over the front door, Mark, that area.
All right, I had a hiccup here. All right.
But I agree with.
I feel like the balance, the proportions are not right. It feels, the mass of the house feels too tall, and maybe because the porch is so high in the front. And then if that's true, then the scale of the windows to the scale of the house feels not sophisticated to me.
All right, well, we can
one ridge height, one roof pitch, you'll be halfway there. And then to your, you know, the elevations, they're a little bit, the windows are narrow and kind of close together, it seems. But
I think you're right, Peter. Just resolving the mismatch of the roof ridges would make a big improvement.
Yeah. Okay. All right, I understand. I see what you're saying.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay, so Sarah mentioned a public submission. Is there any public comment?
Nope.
Okay, so gentlemen, as you said, BJ, you've heard some thoughts from the board, and you want to go back and try to implement some of that stuff. That's
absolutely
great. So I move that we accept the applicant's request to adjourn to our next meeting.
Okay.
Do I have a second on that?
Second.
Okay, second from John. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, great. And fellas, as you may have heard, if there's time for you to make all these changes prior to our next meeting, the requirement is that they're submitted by noon the Thursday before the meeting. And if for some reason that's too tight, you can always put in a request to adjourn to the following meeting.
All right.
Okay.
Well, push for that, but if there's a problem, we'll
Okay.
adjourn for the next one.
Whatever. It's
All right, I
your
appreciate
schedule.
that.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen.
All right, thank you so much for hearing us, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
All right, sounds good.
Have a great night, folks.
You too. Okay, so let's go back to Margaret Lewis and 63 Dale Street.
Are we in?
Monica and
Klug.
James.
All right, Monica's in again. And I don't even see James at this point unless he's with her. No. Hi, Monica.
Hi, I'll do my best. The proposed home is a modest two-story.
So Monica, let's start from the beginning. So identify yourself again, just so we have that.
Yes.
Okay.
My name
Go
is
ahead.
Monica Klug from Spionk, New York, and I am the applicant for the owner of 63 Dale Street.
Okay, you're representing the applicant. Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Go ahead, Monica. And Kat
The proposed
has,
home is a modest two-story.
and you have the affidavits on this, Alice, correct? Yes.
I do.
Thank you.
They're in order.
Okay. So we're familiar with the site plan, so let's go
Thank
to the
you.
house. Okay. There we go. Okay. Monica, take us through the elevations from this point.
Okay, the proposed home is a modest two-story in keeping with the village's motif and the integrity of the neighborhood. The home has a gentle roof line that is not steep. The windows are sufficient but not excessive in size on every wall. There's a beautiful porch with a carport that aesthetically lines up with the overhang of the porch. The pool house and the pool are situated to ensure privacy. The driveway is not overbearing. It has 2 parking areas for 2 cars each. And I'd like to know if the board has any questions or comments.
Okay, can we just go back to the site plan since you mentioned the location of a pool and a garage? Okay.
It's behind the house.
Like a pool house, not a garage, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Is this what you want, Jess?
Yeah, yep.
Okay.
And how many bedrooms does the house have?
Like 6.
6, I think.
6.
Yeah.
6.
All right, so hence the 5 cars, okay. Okay. Okay, back to the elevations. Board members, comments?
Yeah.
And let's go to the front elevation so we can start with that and then we'll, okay. Thank you, Kat.
Welcome.
I'd like to share my screen.
10-foot
Sure.
ceilings.
Let me
The
stop.
first,
Go ahead, Peter.
Side, the carport.
Okay,
see the lines with the
I
roof.
just prepared this comparison of the elevations of this application with our guidelines, which are available online under the Board of Architectural Review and Historic Preservation. The applicant did not, I don't think, even opened our guidelines. Let's just look at the top, okay? We identify, what looks nice historically, what has been looked historically correct in the building, 20% historically, 33% one can diverge, one can even have 50%. But the point is there's a regularity and a rhythm. And you can see that the side elevations flanking this central graphic, there's no rhythm. There's no composition. It's as if it was shot by buckshot. If you look at the front elevation, you don't have to do symmetry, but you have window of every different size. You have, look at the elevation of the house just below, again, in our guidelines, it's a side gable. It's reinforced by a double window. You've killed yours with a small window next to a big window. The center is defined by an anomalous window above the front door, which is so poorly placed that you have to cut a hole in your roof. Look at the guidelines, look at the sketches flanking your front elevation and see what exists in Southampton, the types that exist. And you know, they even exist on Dale Street. There's a very nice home further north on Dale, maybe 6 houses north, and there's one on the other side of Warren Street, which are sort of these early 20th century vernacular. It seems to be that's what you're looking for. But I have to say the composition is a complete failure.
Other comments, board members?
I concur, and I think that, you know, AZAC here and window sale there, I think by going back to the guidelines and looking, you know, to see an analysis of window to wall ratio would help your engineer.
Yeah, the only other thing, this is a person with aesthetic training did not design this house. That's very clear.
I agree. Even with the guidelines aside, Peter, it lacks any cohesive design.
One of my objections is the porte cochere. I feel like it's a way to steal some use because you've used land to build a pool house. But I think in that neighborhood, on that street, the porte cochere going into the side of the house is far too grand and massive to be appropriate for that street.
Yeah, I agree. It's a bit out of place for a house of that size to.
Yeah, Monica, folks, tell me if you have problems hearing. I'm getting a little notice that my internet is unstable. So you have the opportunity here to set the tone for the development of this neighborhood. And the concern you're hearing from the board members may reflect that. It does from my particular standpoint. And that's why in this case, the guidelines, which we refer to all the time, are particularly important. So I know sometimes hearing negative comments or designs that are different than what you or the applicant or the architect have submitted is sometimes an unwelcome prospect, but there's an opportunity here to set the tone for this neighborhood with a house that's more consistent with the historical context of Southampton houses. And I will agree with all the things that my fellow chair members have said. And I will also note that the porte cochere is incongruous with, probably with that neighborhood, but definitely in respect to what was there, which we recognize was a vestige from the past that unfortunately can't be salvaged. But our hope, and we shared this publicly at the last meeting, is that what would replace it would be something that was characteristic of the village that is Southampton. So I think you're hearing a lot of those comments from the board. I would definitely look at the guidelines and take that in. If we could, sometimes we can do things in work sessions if you want to swap ideas, but at this point you're started the process. So a lot of comments from the board, and so let me open it up to public comment and then give you a chance, Monica, to respond.
No public comment.
Okay, Monica, what are you thinking?
Other than to look at the guidelines, are there any specific areas that you want the architect to focus on?
everything.
I think within, so I would ask the architect to listen to this tape, which is available. And I don't know at what point we're in it, but we're an hour and 45 minutes. And look at that point. I think the comments were very specific in terms of roof lines, wind fenestration. The only thing we didn't mention was materials. Well, actually we did. I think Sarah mentioned about the use of AZAC, which we frown upon for a number of reasons, not the least of which has to do with the environment, but also with the look. So I think we were rather specific, and I would just ask the architect to look at the video.
Thank you.
Okay, great. And again, if you want to take this down to from and you tell me, Alice, if this is correct or not, but if you want to remove it from a public hearing to a work session, is that possible at this point, or once we're down the path with a public hearing, Alice?
I think
That's the forum for discussion.
Yeah, I think in order to do that, they would have to withdraw their application and
Froze or
submit,
I froze?
a work session.
I'm sorry, Alice, could you say that again?
I think they would have to withdraw their application to do
Okay,
that.
no. So let's continue on with this.
Yes.
That would be the most expeditious. So, okay, I move that we, and you're asking us to adjourn. So I move that we accept the applicant's request to adjourn. Monica, as you know, if you come back to us for the next session, any submissions have to be in before noon, the Thursday before. And if you want to go longer, that's fine with us too. We're here every other Monday, pretty much. So, okay. Do I have a second on that motion?
Second.
Oh, second from Peter, all in favor? Aye. Aye. Okay, Monica, we'll see you in a couple of weeks or 4 weeks, okay? All right, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Okay. Okay, driveway gates, non-historic, Hampton Monkey Business, 209 Little Plains Road. Anybody still here for that?
Yep, Haley Willis.
Okay.
Coming in. Okay, Haley, if you can start your camera and I think you got it.
I can't see me. Can you
Are
see
you?
me?
No, are you in the dark?
I'm not sitting in the dark. Hold on.
Okay.
Boo.
Halloween's over.
Well, I have the touch up my appearance on. Maybe it's gotten rid of me completely.
Yep. Yes, that's it. Go into your camera and tell it no background.
Okay.
No. A little arrow by your camera.
Yeah.
It says choose background. Virtual background.
None. I have none.
Okay.
How bizarre. Okay.
Do you have anything covering the lens?
No, I just checked. Well. Yeah. Oh, okay. There I am. Hi. Sorry about that. Okay.
Oh, there you are. Okay, great.
Haley Willis, attorney for the applicant with the Adam Miller Group in Bridgehampton.
Okay, so again, tell it. Okay.
Okay, so the comments at the last meeting were to replace the proposed materials with natural wood to mimic the existing pool enclosure fence on the property. And then we also had a comment about the lights to choose something with a downward focus. So that is precisely what we're proposing. All the materials have been swapped out from the painted white. We now have the wood cap on top of the columns. The gate frame and all of the slats on the gate are going to be natural mahogany to match the existing fence. And then that is the new light fixture on the screen there.
Price on a light fixture, by the way, that's.
Fine.
Fine.
Oh, the other comment was about the 18 feet. So now the column that's closest to the road is a full 18 feet back.
Okay.
The reclaimed brick matches the brick that's on the chimneys on the house.
Sorry, which the brick
I'm
on
sorry.
the.
No, I'm wrong. I read it's wrong. Okay.
Wood.
Thank you. I think I think changing the material out to match the fence behind makes it really attached to the house much stronger. I appreciate that.
And I think the lights are handsome.
Yeah, they're pretty lights.
Sure, yeah.
I think it looks great.
Me too.
Me too. You did what was suggested and did it well. Thank you.
Thanks, they were great suggestions.
Can we move to accept the application?
Yes, please.
I think you just did.
Second, somebody?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Good.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Looks
much.
great.
Okay,
Good
good.
night.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
Good night.
Okay. By the way, I'm getting a reading every once in a while that my connection is a little bit unstable. So have I been
You've been fine.
fine? Okay, good. All right, the next application has been adjourned. That's Leroy and Tandy Mitchell at 21 Terry Court. Jackie, did they postpone to the next meeting or was there a specific date?
They requested adjournment to the next hearing.
Okay, so I move that we accept the applicant's request to adjourn to our next meeting. Do I have a second on that?
Second.
A second by Peter. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Good. Okay, great. So that concludes the hearings. There were two, at least that I know of, items for discussion. One is my issue of adjournments. Again, sort of good news, bad news, there were a lot of adjournments. And my concern with adjournments is that allow a lot of time to pass, which, hold on, Woody, which is not in the best interest of the public, or I think the building department or the board. Things can go on without any action being taken. Issues can become stale and the public becomes unaware of it. And we're not consistent. And I'm going to look to Alice for, look for the board for suggestions, but also Alice in terms of what we can do. In terms of, we're not consistent with how long we allow an applicant to adjourn. It's sort of, we use the field test. If it feels like it's going too long, we'll say, hey, let's repost and notice the next time. Should we, could we, can we impose, X number of adjournments beyond which there has to be a reposting? And maybe it's a reposting without a new application. I don't want somebody to have to pay and go through the whole process, but I want the public to be aware. So thoughts from the board, and then Alice, your thoughts from a legal perspective.
At least provide some reason for the adjournment to be continually extended. I mean, there has to be some reason, right?
So maybe in that you're saying it's perhaps X number of adjournments as a matter of course, and beyond that, subject to or conditioned on the reasons.
Right.
Is that something that would be allowable, Alice?
I mean, yeah, you can certainly ask someone to give a reason for their adjournments.
Can the board impose limits as to how many adjournments before they have to republish? Is that
Yeah.
an admitted? Okay.
I think that's fair, and I think having a clear policy is even more fair. So I think if the board wanted to decide, if someone adjourns for the length of 3 or 4 meetings rather than, a number of adjournments, because you can adjourn once and adjourn for, months.
Okay. Other board members?
You're on mute, John.
Sorry, thank you. I would say that 3 meetings is more than enough to give someone the time to collect their thoughts or whatever was required to represent, right?
Right. And these are adjournments, not necessarily an adjournment because they're coming back next week with new plans, but this is more a matter of, we haven't seen anything from them, and they or the representative are constantly submitting requests for adjournment.
So like 3 meetings or 6 weeks, I guess would be what I'm talking about.
Yeah, so like when an application goes stale.
Yeah. My concern also is that work is continuing on several projects, and it's work that does not agree with what the board signed off on.
Yep.
And I think the further down the pike these things go, the more costly it will be for the applicant to be held accountable, for want of a better expression. And, or maybe that's the idea that, as long as nobody says stop, I'm just going to do it. And then by that point, it will be too late. And I can say nobody told me, that this was the case. So
I
I'm
disagree with that, but that's beyond our control, isn't it?
Yeah. It is, but also, if someone doesn't comply or does something that they're not approved to do,
right,
as we review it as if it is not already built, whether that works in favor of the applicant or whether it works against the applicant.
Okay.
You as proposed, so they don't get to say that they are vested in the right of something that they constructed illegally. You do not
As
have a
long as
right.
there are repercussions, that's the issue in the end of the day.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's not a case of, gee, that's not fair then. Okay.
Jeff, I would propose that I could prepare a resolution for the board if you tell me exactly what you want, and then you can adopt a resolution about what the board's policy is on adjournments, and then I think it's a little more clear for everybody.
Okay, that sounds like a plan. All right, Peter, sorry about that.
I don't agree.
I'm going to go on mute in a second. I'm going to turn it over to Peter.
I wondered if we could ask Alice to write an adaptation of the 2014 New York State Model Landmarks Law. Which New York State, it's a template they offer to communities to adopt and adapt. And I wondered if we could authorize Alice to do that so that trustees could vote on it.
I think
Peter has come up with a side-by-side showing the changes that go from what we had adopted in the 1980s to what has been adopted by New York State and most of the certified local governments in 2014. So it's not, it's readily understandable. And part of it is getting past this, let's tear this building down, and then the next week get a radically unsuitable structure to make, to take its place. That's one of the things in 2014, which is if you seek to have a C of A, you've got to show what's going to go in its stead.
Right. I think that Dale Street's a perfect example. Yes, I know what was there was beyond hope, but the lines of that house are far superior to the lines of what they proposed to replace. So, we blindly tore it down, and now we see what is coming. And I think it would be nice to know what would come. And the law, if I can share my screen, that's not it. Yes, it is. Do you have it?
No, just your list.
Oh, sorry. A list. I'm sorry, I goofed. Well, I
If you
can't
have
do it.
highlighting, just have to
Never
open
mind. I can't do it, so never mind. But anyway,
Law summary.
you know, that's one of the important things. The other thing is, you know, it gets us, we'd have to do more education, which I think is fine. Board members, but I think it's the demolition thing that's the most important.
It's not just offering blank slates without any idea, just, you know, just because it's from a marketing standpoint, it's a good idea. And while we're at it, why is 242 coming back, South Main? The real estate hustle.
To my knowledge, I thought that was just adjourned and not denied.
Yeah, it was just adjourned.
But so why is it coming back? I mean, it's a contributing building in an historic district.
Well, there was no vote taken on it, and the applicant requested to meet with the client to see if in fact they wanted to.
Okay.
So, but that would be an example too, if it were to continue on for multiple adjournments. I think the public deserves to have it reposted and notified.
Right. Okay. I thought the first instance was a fishing expedition.
Okay. Let's see, any other business? And if not, then I will move that we close this meeting of the Board of Architectural Review and Historic Preservation this November 8th. It's now 9 o'clock. Do I have a second on that?
Second.
Second from Peter and Mark. So all in favor, aye?
Hi.